The combustion engine revolutionized the way we live. But burning fossil fuels comes at a huge cost. From cities choked with fumes to the spectre of global warming. Now these young engineers are determined to make a difference. Sam Marsden is working to prove that aerodynamics could allow us to go faster than ever, using less fuel.
There's nothing that's going to stop me. Only death is about the only thing that's going to stand in the way.
And a band of young students are designing a revolutionary car to take on a 3,000-kilometer endurance race, using no fossil fuels at all.
This is one of the hardest challenges in the world, full stop.
Sam Marsden is only 24, but this engineering graduate believes millions of tons in CO2 emissions and billions of pounds of fuel costs can be saved with better vehicle aerodynamics.
I want to build something to change the world, to make an impact that stands and lasts and, it benefits other people.
And to do that and show the world, Sam has a very big dream.
I'm trying to break a land speed record that stood for 47 years. The record is the land speed record for the 1000cc naturally aspirated streamlined motorbike class held by a legend, Burt Munro. If you're into motorbikes, then you know about Burt Munro. He was so famous that they made a movie about his life starring Anthony Hopkins.
Developed as part of his course, Sam has designed a bike he believes is aerodynamically super efficient. It minimizes drag, slashes fuel consumption, meaning a standard engine would be able to reach incredible speeds.
Is that going to give me enough room? There's not as much room in this as I thought there was going to be. All elements of the bike are important, but the thing that's going to push us beyond 250 miles an hour is the aerodynamics.
But what's more remarkable than his design is what he's had to overcome in his life.
Whenever I was in school, a teacher basically told me that because I couldn't read or write, that the best thing that I could hope for was to be a bin man. It made me really angry. And I just wasn't prepared to accept that.
Sam spent a year of his degree with a top Formula One team. Now with university over, he's put together a team of engineers, friends, and mum and dad to finish the bike.
You let me know what you need to start that, drawings off me, dimensions, all those sorts of things.
But if he's going to prove his design works, going over 296 kilometers per hour and setting a new world record, there's only one place to do it. At Bonneville, Utah, home of land speed racing.
The risks are high.
Have a rider down, have a rider down.
I don't really want to end up killing myself.
It's always there in the back of my mind. What if?
I think my parents think about it probably more than I do, and I think it worries them a lot.
I've been to Bonneville. I have seen a lot of the things that go wrong, which are totally frightening.
A terrifying blowover that disintegrated the car.
This is the point where I could push him off and I wouldn't see him again.
This is where we're building our solar car. We call it Evo at the moment.
In Cambridge, a team of engineering students are also using the science of aerodynamics to slash vehicle emissions and fuel use, not just to go faster, but to go further.
Regardless of where the energy comes from, we need to use as little as possible, and that means that us building a car that's all about reducing energy usage is the most important thing.
For 12 weeks, they've been building Evolution, their solar-powered car they believe will travel hundreds of kilometers on the power it takes to boil a kettle. They plan to test their car in Australia, in the World Solar Challenge, attempting to race all the way from Darwin to Adelaide.
There's just nothing that compares.
Cars at the top of the game will be averaging about 90 kilometers an hour.
It's an insanely hard challenge.
They're up against some big teams backed by big sponsors. Team Evo has secured funding, but it's small fry compared to many of their competitors.
We have what looks like a large budget. We're talking about sort of £500,000, but compared to some of the top teams, they've got maybe 4 or 5 times as much as that.
It's almost like the after-school club team trying to play football against a Premier League club. It's 2 different worlds.
But Team Evos believe their car's revolutionary design will make it fast and give them the edge.
The key difference with our concept is that we prioritise the aerodynamics. Our car is streamlined, aerofoil shape. Every other solar car team builds a rectangular car with like a little bobble in the middle for the driver's head. And this is primarily for getting the maximum area of solar cells on the top of the car. Our car is less than half the width of most of the cars, which means dynamically it can be a lot faster. The problem with the concept is that it's more difficult to control, generally drive. That's risky, but we like it.
Like it or not, they know the risks are very real. A Cambridge team competed in Australia 3 years ago, led by Kano Mario Gaya.
Being the leader, at the end of the day, the buck stops with you. And if something goes wrong, especially like if someone gets hurt or worse, like, you know, in the absolute worst case, someone does like die, like ultimately it's your responsibility.
But the car failed before the race had even started.
The car just became unstable. The back end kind of kept going round and the car rolled over. You do start to question, fundamentally, is the car safe? At the end of the last race, there was a big fallout, and the team had like a lot of issues trying to find itself again.
The new team is determined to wipe that memory. Although their final exams are approaching, the books will have to wait. The car must ship to Australia in just over 3 months.
I think we need to have people in the workshop from 9 till 9 every day. Let's go get on with it then.
Before they can install the all-important aerodynamic shell, they must fit the cutting-edge solar panels.
It's like £250,000 worth of cells, and if you snap one little bit of one corner of one cell, not only have you broken that £200 cell, but the other 50 or 100 cells on that panel will also stop working to the best of their efficiency. So you'll have like knocked out £50,000 worth of value in the car in an instant.
Basically, we need to get it right first time.
You can just cut all the way through and try to snap it. That would be a disaster.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Careful, we just need to watch that it's not sagging too much in the middle. Be really careful, don't push it backwards because we'll end up delaminating the cells. Ow!
Sorry.
That was an ow for the car, not for me. I wasn't hurt.
That bolts is in.
Cool.
Okay. So it's not going to slide back now. That's fine. Great. What's next?
Better funded, larger teams can spread the workload, but Aurelia and Co don't have that luxury.
We've been in the hangar for such a long time now that pretty much every time someone goes out to get parts, they come back with crisps and chocolate and rubbish. I hope we won't be here all night, but you never know.
In theory, Sam's shell or fairing design will hugely reduce drag on the bike. If it's stable and safe, it'll punch through the air, needing less fuel to reach incredible speeds. It works on paper, but to see if he's right, he's brought a scale model for testing at a wind tunnel.
You got something?
Yep. It has been absolutely all theory, right down to this point.
80 mil, so we're slightly high.
That's okay.
We'll be fine.
Okay, let's go.
You want to do 40, 50, 60, 70, 80?
Yeah, if this doesn't work, we're going to have to redesign the fairing, which is going to be a massive undertaking. Our lift coefficient appears to be negative, which is a very good sign. That means that basically this isn't going to turn into an aircraft, which is key, because I'm not a pilot and I don't know how to fly.
The bike won't fly, but will it flip?
I'm concerned about that tail and what's going to happen on the rear. So we're looking for those key indications, that flutter, that separation, any unsteadiness. It can build up as the speed increases.
It's looking good. The separation zone is relatively small, which means it's going to be stable. I'm ecstatic. This is brilliant. Everything today has went smoothly. The results we're getting are massively positive. Honestly, they're beyond my expectations.
Now he just has to build the real thing, ready to be shipped in just 11 weeks. Coming up, Sam's dream hangs in the balance.
You're not going to make Speed Week. You're not going to do it.
And for the first time, Cambridge see just what they've signed up for.
It was a rough crash, to be honest.
In Cambridge, Team Evos has just 8 weeks to complete its solar car. To keep on track, Simon and the team must fit the carbon fiber nose cone today.
So keep going. Keep going. It's all a bit of a rush against time.
We're trying to work out how we're attaching this hinge onto the door. We're going to try and fit it, see if it actually works.
Right, it's going to hit something. Carry on. Yeah, all right, stop now.
The aerodynamics will only work if the nose cone fits perfectly.
We need to get a sort of millimetre precision on the front of the carb, so we need to get the seams completely flush between the door and the chassis of the car.
Wait.
We're just sort of trying it out, and then we find that things get in the way, and we have to try another thing out, maybe cut a few corners.
I'm a little bit worried at the moment. There's not a lot of time left. We're at about 8 p.m.
Time for Plan B, a large hacksaw.
Okay, might fit now.
I think we've finally solved the whole door opening mechanism, and we can bolt it in place, and it's pretty much done. So that's like one load off our mind.
In Northern Ireland, Sam is under time pressure too, trying to get the team to finish the bike in time.
Don't melt them.
Melt them?
You melted the last ones in the swinging arm?
No, I didn't melt them, I just burnt them.
Major events at Bonneville are only held during certain times of the year.
Every day the pressure's building in this project for it to be a success.
He has just 2 months to complete the build, ready for shipping.
Headstock for the steering needs done, the training wheels need to be built, the engine needs to be hooked up, fuel pump needs to go into the fuel tank.
There's just no way you can have that done.
But Sam is committed to proving his design is a game changer.
I don't want to sit in my hands. So how are you getting on with it? You know, I want to engage, and I want to push technology and the future forward. I want to be somebody who makes a difference and makes an impact.
With so much to do and so little time, Sam decides to reach out for some expert advice.
I'm just heading to meet Steve and Dave, who are legends in terms of bike building and also engineering. They've taken a lot of bikes out to Bonneville and been very successful. Right now, that could be really beneficial to me in the project. Steve?
Sam.
Pleasure to meet you, man.
And you.
You guys built all of this?
Apart from the tyres, everything here didn't come out of a factory. It was made here.
This is amazing. How many hours went into building this?
More like years.
We're basically aiming to go to Speed Week and hopefully just smash this record.
With the bike?
With the bike.
Is it rolling yet?
No, it is a set of tubes on the floor. So...
2 months?
2 months is what basically...
2 months. How many people working on it?
Maybe 10 people.
So that's 600 man days?
Yep.
I think the word ambitious comes to mind here.
Unless you're going to have a miracle, you're not going to make Speed Week.
You're not going to do it.
Right now, I'm actually feeling pretty gutted. Speed Week was where I wanted to go to. You know, it's the big event. Everything I've been doing has been building up to that.
With 8 weeks to Bonneville, Sam must decide to continue or quit. At a press event, Aurelia and the team are finally ready to unveil their solar car, Evolution.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. Simon, can you please do the honours? The car looks amazing. Everyone was really happy about it.
Exciting evenings for
yes,
you.
Very exciting.
But previous team leader Kano Mario Gea still has the last race on his mind.
This video is immediately after the crash had happened. This car did crash at 90 kilometers an hour. The car just became unstable. It was a rough crash, to be honest. If, let's say, the driver had been seriously injured or worse, heaven forbid, dead, that is your fault at the end of the day.
Meanwhile, Team Evos are having a meal in honor of a new member.
I'd like to introduce Courtney, who's our newest driver.
Well, I'm definitely excited, and it's good to meet everyone. I'm excited to get out there, and I think it should be a fun trip.
Kano feels he has to show them the footage.
So this is footage from Australia in 2013. I think seeing it is probably a good thing for everyone. The car had rolled over, and we had to recover it back. So this is exactly what you don't want to do.
I think you take risks every day with everything you do. You could be crossing the street and get hit by a car. At some point, you need to live life, and I think you can't dwell on something that's happened in the past.
The team took on the advice, and I think that was really encouraging. It was a huge weight off me.
Here's to good luck in Australia.
Let's go, team. Yeah, let's
Back in Northern Ireland, Sam is also reflecting on advice.
You're not going to make Speed Week. You're not going to do it.
They're experienced guys, don't get me wrong, but the one thing they don't understand is we will pull together, we'll pull everything together to make this happen. I'll find something, some way of doing this. I'm not giving up. That is just not what's going to happen, and I'm going to find a way that we get this bike out there and race this year.
The challenge is officially back on. The team sets to work finishing the body.
Right, okay, let's go.
While Sam takes their second-hand engine for a dynamometer test to see if it's powerful enough for their record attempt.
There's always the unknown. This engine was in an accident. This was the only engine we could get with the amount of money we had, and we're basically making the best of the situation we have.
Be all right, let's go.
I gave a head ahead.
I forgot my AirPods.
I love you.
It works, but is it powerful enough?
This engine will get up to about 190, but going beyond 200, although it sounds like a very small step, you actually need a massive increase in horsepower.
The engine has to have at least 170 brake horsepower.
Well, actually considerably less power than we anticipated.
140's far too low. Right, so it is.
Resetting the safety limiter will boost the engine's power, but the engine may seize. The gamble worked. The engine will have enough power. Just.
That's a great result, so it is.
But to break the record of 296 kilometers per hour, he'll need more than an engine. His aerodynamic design needs to work perfectly. Coming up, Sam and his project take a major leap forward.
There he goes, there he goes.
And Cambridge arrive in Australia and start to feel the heat.
No one's going to try and, do my job, because that really me off.
Team Evos has arrived in Australia, ready to compete in the Solar World Challenge, pitting their unique teardrop-shaped car against the much bigger teams with the much bigger budgets.
There's a lot of competition at the top. But you never know. I think with the design we've got, we can at least begin to prove that our concept is a game changer.
Cambridge and the other teams get ready to test their vehicles.
Nice!
So I'm getting excited. It's a little steamy out, but I think other than that, it's a beautiful day to be driving.
After months of non-stop work, for Cambridge, it's their moment of truth.
Okay, guys, this is it. First test on the road. Let's go.
Yeah.
But after only a few hours in the 40-degree heat, some teams are struggling. But one team isn't. The Cambridge students' revolutionary design is working.
A huge relief to have that done. So now just 3,000 kilometers to drive.
In Northern Ireland, Sam and his devoted team of engineers, friends and family are preparing to test a motorbike for the first time.
Like everything else, we're doing all the last-minute stuff at the last minute.
We know the engine runs, but we don't know how the bike balances. I need to practice in the vehicle. You know, nobody knows how to ride one of these things. I don't know how to ride one of these things. I need to practice. And without practice, I'm not going to be a good enough rider to basically handle it at any sort of speed.
With the bike's shell or fairing not yet ready, today is about testing stability and the engine.
Go ahead. Go to the back, lifter. Come on.
The only place safe enough to test a bike this powerful is a runway.
My main characteristic is probably stupidity. I just generally tend to do things that other people say are not possible, too dangerous, or why would you even bother doing that?
So we've got full use of all the runways. Be careful of the aircraft, please. Right.
Conditions are bad, but with limited access to the runway, the bike has to be tested today.
If we were out in Bonneville, there's no way they'd let us run in this sort of wind.
Middle of the runway, Sam. Middle of the runway.
The weather's not ideal. Don't like this.
Sam has asked race veterans Steve and Dave to help supervise.
Sam needs to consider his own safety and his own care and his own limits. He needs to be comfortable with the bike. That's the most important thing. I mean, all the safety stuff's here. We've done the best we can. Now it's time to play.
The first run will be at less than 100 miles per hour, with the safety wheels on.
Let's go.
Here's the bike coming. It's coming. Here's coming.
The bike feels good, it feels solid, but just handling it is a bit of an issue at the minute.
At speed, this is stable.
Yeah.
Much more stable than it is at low speed. Trevor, just you push him off.
There he goes, there he goes. That is something.
You must have been sitting easy 120 mile an hour there.
The steering in the bike, the whole front end, feels really strange, really unusual. Speed and power seem to be the key to balancing in this thing.
To increase his speed, Sam takes the decision to lose his safety net.
They're now lifting the training wheels. These wheels are basically on the bike to stabilise them. This is where it's getting very scary.
At over 120 miles per hour, the bike is hit by a crosswind.
No, no!
Ah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Slow down!
He's all right.
He's not want out. He doesn't want out.
Really? Don't want to go?
Oh, come on. Look, you're enjoying yourself too much.
I think I can get better.
Yeah, no.
I think I can get better at it.
I know you can, but not today. Look,
The wind's really picking up.
the crosswind's killing you coming down there. And you know what? You're going to burn the back tire off this thing.
Testing of the engine and chassis has been a success.
All right. I love you.
That was brilliant.
They still have to fit the all-important fairing, but the team can start planning for Bonneville. In Darwin, Australia, the designing, building, and tweaking is over. The time of reckoning is here for Team Evo's solar-powered car. Over 3,000 kilometers of outback lie ahead.
I'm pretty tired. I've only slept about 2 or 3 hours the last couple of nights because there's been so much work to do to prepare the car.
The staggered start gives them a chance to see just what they're up against.
Stop it! Go! Stop it! Go! Stop it! Go, go, go!
The standard is really high. You know, we have to up our game just to even have a chance of finishing.
Finally, it's Team Evo's turn to kick off, with the other driver, Hannah, behind the wheel.
We can't really talk enough about how hostile the environment in Australia is.
You don't just have kind of the distance to contend with, you've also got the heat.
In the soaring temperatures, one of the favourites, Team 20, take an early lead in Red 1. But Team Evos are holding their own.
I mean, we're cruising at about 68 kilometers per hour, and the car's running reliably.
That's good, I'm happy with this.
To combat tiredness, the drivers swap every few hours, with everyone else following behind.
So far, so good?
Yeah.
Ready to go, team?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Oh no, oh no.
It's an endurance test for the whole team.
We're driving pretty much from sunrise to sunset. We set up camp in the dark, cook dinner in the dark, prepare for the next day in the dark.
Up to 6 more days and thousands of kilometers still lie ahead. But can their cutting-edge car make it? In Northern Ireland, progress on the build is ahead of schedule.
So as you guys can see, we finally got the fairing on the bike. The guys are just rubbing it down at the minute. I'll be sitting in the canopy right here. Just wee tweaks here and there, and we are good to go.
But later that day, Sam's mum receives some news.
Where are we with everything? Mum.
So,
where are we with everything?
Well, the thing is, Speedway's cancelled. So,
due to extreme ground conditions, the salt flats aren't safe. And the event Sam was planning on running the bike at is off.
Levels of the salt at Bonneville salt flats are depleting rapidly.
You okay?
Hello.
Hello.
Is this all over?
Yes. It looks like it is over.
Listen, anything we've ever started, we've finished. It might not be in Bonneville. We'll find somewhere.
In Australia, the Cambridge solar car has crossed thousands of kilometers of superheated outback. The extreme temperatures are battering all of the teams. The Malaysians have a catastrophic fire. And now Team Evos have been forced to pull over.
You get the sun off it. You have a clock. So it's very hot down here.
The battery is struggling and losing its charge.
Are the fans on? So we've taken off the canopy, put in some dry ice near the air vents to cool the air going in, just to try and bring the battery down to a safer temperature.
You have the cleaning cloths.
But the limit of the battery is 55 degrees, and we didn't want to risk getting too close to that, as at that point you're in risk of having a battery fire.
If the battery ignites, it will destroy the car and they'll be out of the race for good. Coming up, in Australia, more problems with the car push the team to the brink.
No one's going to do my job for me, because that really me up.
And Sam risks everything, trying to run the bike.
Oh, no!
In Northern Ireland, Sam Marsden has been told that his dream of racing his bike in Utah is off.
Levels of the salt at Bonneville salt flats are depleting rapidly.
But Sam has spent his entire life proving people wrong. Pendine Sands in South Wales is an 11-kilometre stretch of beach. Historically, it's where many world record speed attempts have been made.
This is the only place in pretty much the world we can come, apart from Bonneville, to test this bike at these sorts of speeds. This beach is not only famous for setting land speed records, it's also famous for killing the people who try and set them.
It is an unknown for that vehicle on the sand, but it's the best you can do in the UK.
As a mom, I am very apprehensive.
You never know how these things can end up.
My stomach is churning.
This is getting very, very tense now.
It's the first time Sam has ridden the bike with the aerodynamic shell fitted.
Dear Lord, help Sam to do what he's meant to do today. And protect everybody else and make sure that we're all safe. Amen.
Let's just make it a good run, guys.
I get really emotional about stuff like that. It's just that I think we're here for a reason. And I think it's really good that we've all come together. So, sorry. Thank you.
Right, let's go, Dad. Yeah? I got this. Oh, you got it. Right, okay. Right, starter? Yep. Easy, easy, kid. He's doing all right. He's doing okay.
There's something, like...
What?
I can balance it, but as soon as I lift the skids, I am just jumping over to one side. Yeah. It's handling really well with the fairing on. It's just that wind.
Where is that?
Is just messing us up.
With the wind speed dropping, Sam plans to now lift the skids and go for it.
There they go. It's veering off to the left, and I think that's a tailwind.
Whoa!
We hit soft sand, and the whole bike went broadside up the beach.
As soon as I lift the skids, I am just jumping over to one side.
Yeah. What do you want to do here?
I want to go back to the start. Everyone's put so much hard work into it, so...
Sam, the wind's picking up. The vehicle, that car is moving.
Stop. I'm running.
The weather's closing in and the surface is deteriorating. But it's Sam's last chance to break that speed record. Sam opens up the throttle.
That's okay. Just put it up.
The bike is stable with minimal drag. Sam's design works.
I can't get my balance.
But he's hit wet sand.
Well done, my darling. Absolutely well done.
No records have been broken today, but in the right conditions, Sam has proved his bike is a contender.
Good stuff.
I love you.
I know you do.
Sam's passion for working on this motorcycle is infectious, and where he's got to is fantastic.
Pat everybody in the back.
Oh, yes,
say,
yes,
what a
yes.
job. Well done.
I can't reach it. You're gonna take a wee break because I'm shattered. But I think like it's not gonna be over until I run at Bonneville, and that's just what I'm gonna spend the rest of the time I have working towards. But right now it feels pretty damn good. Burt Munro famously said that you live more in 5 minutes on a bike like this than most people live in their entire lifetime. Truer words were never spoken.
Team Evos and their solar-powered car are near Adelaide on the final leg of an endurance race. Their unique car has traveled thousands of kilometers on clean energy, but now they're struggling to keep the battery cool and charged, and the grueling distances are taking their toll on everyone.
My job at the moment really is to make sure everyone still thinks that it's possible. We could get almost all the way to Tennant Creek if we left now.
Yeah.
Okay, 8 people need to stay here.
Yeah.
The rest need to go.
By the end of today, they could be crossing the finish line in Adelaide, but the battery is failing again.
This is the worst we've seen through the whole race. I'm suggesting we can get there by 5 o'clock if you drive at an average of 55.
No, I don't believe that will happen. Can't get there. If we go 55, we can't get there.
No, we know that.
No,
It's
no.
an average.
No,
It's
I
an
understand,
average.
even with an average.
That's what I'm saying. This is like any estimate.
What about what about also we make a distance prediction?
Yes,
So we also
I'll
do
do
a
this
time distance prediction and a time power prediction.
No one's going to try and like do my job for me because that would really me off.
Okay, guys.
Okay, that's fine.
That really me off. That was not okay.
You can't know unless you do it. But what I'm trying to say is worth the effort of trying. There's been some dissent in the team about getting there. Some people believe we can't make it.
They're gambling on the roads being clear and the battery holding out.
From now until the end of today, everything has to be perfect, everything has to be spot on.
The Dutch team Nuon are the first to cross the finish line and are this year's winners. But Cambridge have just entered Adelaide, and they've hit rush hour.
So it became really intense, and there were loads of vehicles. The roads were really busy. It made the whole thing so much more difficult. And then there was this huge sense of relief. The finish line, we could see it coming, and we knew it was going to happen. It was a really strange feeling of sort of like being welcomed home.
We had 26% of battery left at the end, which was far more than we were expecting.
I think we've proved to everyone that this is a concept that's worth taking seriously. We're really setting the standards here and hope to be leading the way for many years to come.
These extraordinary electric vehicles are proof that new technology can transform global transportation. Even the underdogs, with the experimental design, have shown the world.
We